Hey everyone, welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I'm your host, Ethan Van Sciver, artist at DC Comics for about 20 years. And I like to do these little commentary tracks where we go through and discuss some of my books and the thought and work and background that went into making them. This right here is Green Lantern Rebirth number 3. And this was probably the mini-series that is responsible for most of my success as an artist. And it's really fun to look back on it now. I don't look back on it often. I try to kind of move forward like a shark. But it's good for any opportunity to just reminisce about this moment in my career is a good thing. Issues 1 and 2 did very, very well. Very well, much better than I think we were even expecting, even that we could possibly have hoped. They went back for several reprintings, and issue 3 I think was already completed by the time issue 1 shipped. So here we go. I was given directions for each cover. I was asked to draw a representation of the Trinity that existed in Hal Jordan at that point. And Hal Jordan had become the Spectre, and the Spectre was his own kind of entity. And also, he was being poisoned by Parallax, who looks different than this, we find out. But this is Hal's manifestation as somebody who is being poisoned and infected by the Parallax entity. And here we have Hal. I was very much into this kind of tactile kind of effect. I wanted people, touching rings, and I think at one point I had a cover idea where the Parallax entity that we meet would actually be holding Hal Jordan up by the arm and licking his ring. Everything was just all about that ring and these circles and all of that, just symbols all the time, and then fetishizing those symbols in a way. So let's open this up and let's get into it here. Here we have Kyle Rayner, who is the Green Lantern who has taken over for Hal Jordan in Hal Jordan's absence. Hal Jordan is Spectre, so we need a lantern, and Kyle has taken over and has done very well. Kilowog is facing off against Ganthet in the background here, and right below Ganthet is the now open coffin of Hal Jordan, who is dead. This is his body, and he's still dressed as Parallax, much to our shock and fright, as we saw last issue. Kilowog was just fun to draw for me. I was looking at the old Joe Staton drawings of Kilowog and decided to try to do kind of a literal translation of what Joe Staton had done when he created Kilowog, but bring a little bit more reality to him, so a little bit more weight. And also here he's not the guy that we know. He is possessed in a way, and angry, and under some influence. This is being inked by, I believe, Prentice Rollins. You'll notice a big heavy line here. This is something that I don't normally do in my own art, so it's interesting to see other inkers take my pencils and make different choices than I would have made. We see the Green Lantern symbol in his eyes. This is a recurring theme that I brought out in Green Lantern Rebirth, where you can actually see what is compelling a character to go forward, whether it's willpower or fear or hope. Or any of the symbols that would come a little bit later. For right now, we have this one, obviously, and we're being introduced to a new symbol in this miniseries. We have Ganthet, who remains calm. He's a cool customer. This image everyone loved. I remember. What now? I have to go back and think. I think Jeff Johns did ask me to have him just exhaling, just like snorting like a wild animal. You get a picture of bull snorting. That was kind of what we were going for here with Kilowog, just emphasizing the big rugged animal aspects of this character that make me like him a lot. And here we go. Let's just unleash with willpower now. All of that energy, all of the will that was in his eyes on page 1 is just being unleashed in a massive beam of power at Ganthet, who endures it because he's Ganthet. It would take a lot more than that to harm this fellow right here, especially when he's doing what he's supposed to do. I mean, he has a purpose here, and that purpose is kind of being funded and supported by the green energy in the universe. This isn't, he is the master, and this guy would be the student here. And sure enough, I mean, with one hand behind his back, boom, it just unleashes a vicious onslaught that actually tears up the ground all around him. This was a lot of fun to do. This is very manga influenced, or very manga influence, with the speed lines on the ground and the just disruption all around. As you can see his outline grow and expand here, and then become these strands of DNA, kind of. I just picture them whipping the hell out of just reality, and poor little Kilowog just I don't know. Yeah, it hurt. Didn't hurt him. It hurt him. And once again, we do the same thing. It says willpower is, extended outwards, and energy beams all made to look like DNA like strands, kind of. I don't know why. I think that was Jeff's choice. Jeff asked for that. It might have been me. I don't remember. But in any case, it kept going. I mean, each of these characters has energy signatures that are unique, and it was I think brought out in this mini-series that these unique energy signatures are unique manifestations of their will, and they need to be as consistent as possible. Fans loved it. I mean, they absolutely loved that. So it was a good choice. And once again, Kilowog tries to take a shot at Ganthet, to no avail. Yeah, meanwhile, poor Kyle, it's all he can do to protect himself. He's just endured a really terrible crash landing in the desert, and he's not really up to snuff to fight Kilowog or Ganthet, so he's generating a shield and trying to defend himself. Wow, I see Guy Gardner, a man capable. So Guy Gardner's back, and Kyle realizes now. Yeah, that oh good, Guy's a lantern again. But look at this evil. I mean, this is this kind of wicked, corrupt green energy coming out of Kyle's ring. They're all being affected by this. John Stewart is, meanwhile, he's out at Ferris Airfield, and he's fighting the entire Justice League, and he's doing a pretty damn good job of it. They're all suffering. Kyle's saying, "Damn it, Jordan, you better be worth this." Yeah, I think he will be. Hal Jordan shows back up again, and he is right by the old Little Coast City sign. I think he's too big here. I think I drew him too big. Like, here's the background. This is more about statting. Let's draw the background, and then we just draw the figure. He pops in. He is about twice too big as he should be right there, and that's a mistake. But we're walking through Coast City, and the signs are there. Everything is there, except for the buildings. Except for one building. There's his old apartment complex, and green light just streaming out of his window. 22 Seaview. Jeff was specific about that. That must be really his address that was established somewhere. And this is the wonderful thing about working with Jeff Johns. He's read it all. He's read everything. So little facts like this are given great weight and integrity. You can trust Jeff that he is on the ball. and he's not going to let anything go unexplained or unmentioned. Hal climbs up the stairs of his old apartment building and recalls, remember, this is what we do. We fade it out. This is almost black and white here, so this is a memory. And Hal Jordan has longer hair, bangs in his eyes. He's a younger man than this man that we see in shadow. And as he walks up the stairs with his back to us and walks towards his door, very strange thing. His shadow's smiling. Why? Because he's still got Parallax in him, who's enjoying this. And we reach for the doorknob, and inside, on the floor of his apartment, is a power battery. And this is something that shouldn't be there. And there's Ava. Power battery on the floor. And he's got a poster on his wall that says, "Keep 'em flying." Looks like it's of World War II vintage. Who did all this? Who brought it all back? You did, Hal Jordan. Now he's talking into his power battery, and Parallax is speaking back. Very much a presence. He's very much a part of this. Is Hal? So it seems that Hal Jordan's willpower. He says, we did it together. Hal Jordan's willpower is bringing back Coast City. For what reason? Back to the fight between Ganthet and Kilowog. Now we get a quick glimpse of Hal Jordan in his coffin again. I'm going to skip this. I should skip a few pages. Kyle beams himself in the coffin up to the moon, the JLA moon base, where he sees that Guy Gardner just laid waste to the JLA and Doc Midnight. And let's bring Hal's body up to the JLA moon base. Ollie wants to know what's going on. That's an unsettling sight. Kyle's just beaten up. And here we go. I mean, this is more of just trying to pull these two characters apart. For God's sake, in three different directions, three different shadows in this one man. Here's Parallax, as we know him to look right now, just kind of splitting from Hal Jordan and tempting him. And then out of the other side, here's Spectre. Yeah, it's Hal Jordan's being tortured by these just being three different people. And it's just all swirling around in a ring here. It's all about a ring. Yeah. Oh, wow, it's weird. It's like I'm looking at this stuff for the first time. I remember some of the thought that went into this. Look, as the Spectre tries to tell him, there's more. You've got to know. You've got to fight what Parallax is. We're going to tell you the truth about what happened to you. And in one eye, there's Parallax, and in the other eye, there's Hal. Oh boy, these were heady times, I'll tell you. Penciling, letting the inker do a lot of this work here. When you do, my initial thought, okay, when I started this about designing these characters was that a big thing that made them visually appealing was the stark contrast between the colors green and black. A lot of artists who were working on Green Lantern were so tempted to get in there and draw muscles and all the musculature of this area of the suit that they would just end up kind of, in effect, making the suit green, and when the highlights are added, gray. Green and gray do not look good together, really. Green and black look sharp. So I just started saying, look, everything is black. It's just black, silhouetted out. And why? Because his costume's made of energy. We've said that over and over again. I mean, they say, look, he projects his costume onto him. It's not really fabric per se. It's made of willpower. Therefore, if it's made of energy, this should be green, and this should be the absence of green. It's just black. It doesn't reflect back light at all. It's just black. So when you do that, This looks really sharp. It's a very simple drawing. Again, having a model of this power battery was really, really helpful in drawing it many times. But Kyle charging the ring and having a beam come out of the power battery that splits up the black of his uniform into essentially just speed lines that recede back into the power battery, and then seeing the contrast with the black of his suit really worked well. It was very, very visually appealing. And Kyle is ready to go now. He's doing better. And we're learning the truth. We're learning about Kyle basically saw parallax. Now, here's the thing. This symbol was extracted. Well, first of all, Jeff asked me, he said, hey, draw the yellow, or the parallax symbol, I think he called it. And there was no such thing. So I had to design a symbol, and I tried to pull it from the original design of parallax. Let me see if there's a good way to show you that here, because parallax does kind of, I don't know if I have a good shot of him in this. Well, when I get a chance to do that, I will do that. I'll show you exactly, no, not there either. I'll show you how that came to be. But basically, I pulled this design out from the original Darryl Banks parallax suit. And you can see here, I mean, this symbol is as old as the universe and maybe even older. And if you were to travel the universe and look at, just ancient people from all over planets, like just, light years away, they've been drawing this little symbol and understanding what it means forever. But in this, I mean, these poor people actually met the real parallax entity, and here he is for the first time. Here it is. This is the parallax creature. Now, it could have looked like anything. Jeff asked for me to draw it as a monster, and my feeling was that it would be very primitive, so it would be insect-like. It would be a very primitive form of life. And all throughout it, you can see, like, why, what is this symbol? Where did it come from? Well, it's all over him. I mean, if you saw this mouth coming at you, about to engulf you in fear, about to possess you, you would see this symbol within the mouth. It's almost like these ancient beings struggling to comprehend this incredible elemental force broke it down into this one little shape. And this shape has become the symbol for people who worship at the altar of this creature and his faith, which is fear, ever since. And it's only now, it's only now that our guys are learning about this, and what essentially happened to Hal Jordan, what caused him to go mad and do terrible things. He was under the influence of another creature. Here's another shot of the Green Lantern Corps that was really fun to draw. These are all early Green Lanterns that I love. John Stewart in an old version of his uniform. I think Hal Jordan is in the Gil Kane suit. Is he? Or no? I think he might have shoulders there. Remembering this moment where he realized his hair went gray. And, I think, they did this in the comics. Hal Jordan was suddenly old. I mean, they put gray in his hair as if he was becoming seniority, as if he was aging. And I'd be very much against this, just because I don't think our heroes do age. They've got to, just because we're aging as readers doesn't mean they're aging. They're not aging. They have to remain healthy and fit for the next generation. So this is a very strange choice that happened in the late 80s and early 90s, I think, giving Hal some age. So we explain that away. I mean, that was... some people say when they suffer terrible frights, their hair goes gray, and that's what happened to Hal when parallax entered him. Let's skip all this. This is a nice recap of his crimes under the influence of parallax, which I don't really care to revisit. This was a splash page of Hal once he first hit his parallax uniform. He entered the power battery, and the creature was living within the battery, and there he is. What I did was the original Darryl Banks drawing had him in this pose, and I thought Parallax is there with him. He's invisible. So his hand is up, and you think he's raising his hand in a powerful gesture. He's actually petting Parallax's little face. Parallax has his fingers in his chest where his heart is, just like the cover right here. Just holding on. Fear has got a hold of your heart. And Hal's just holding his little arm here with his other hand. I just thought it'd be interesting to take that piece of artwork, shoot it from another angle, and show that it meant something else than what we thought it did. And of course, as Parallax during the 0 Hour event and final night, he just laid waste to everyone and set a bad example for his fans, which isn't great. And we're learning all this. Hal's learning all this now. No, you're not Parallax. You are. Look, I love this. Just constantly emerging from each other, and then just wow, ripping Hal Jordan's face to pieces. Parallax inside. Oh, that's sick. Look at his teeth in there. Oh, what the hell's wrong with me? There he is. Yeah, now we see just the inhuman aspects of Parallax. We're now convinced as readers that this is no longer Hal Jordan with a whole lot of power. This is something that is demonic. It's a force that's possessed him, and here's the skin of Hal Jordan that's being peeled off. That is really, really sick. And then suddenly, who woke up Parallax? Who woke up that sleeping monster? He's been in that power battery for ages. Who woke it up? Yellow arrows. Just boom. Yeah, who woke it up? Who could it be? Who would? Oh, it's our friend Sinestro. Yeah, when I drew this, I thought it was cool. Now, looking at it, it's horrible. And, listen, Sinestro, he's a funny character. He's meant to be the Joker. He was always kind of had a big grin on his face in the old comics. He's meant to be Sinestro's foe, and I think in some ways artists over the years have made that real connection, like cackling supervillain for the hero, and that's what happened to this guy. And I never liked it, but he wasn't supposed to be in this miniseries. Like, he wasn't going to come back initially. It was going to be all about Parallax. It was going to be all about the Spectre. And I just said, I really think we need to bring him back. And Jeff did agree, luckily, and he is making his first reappearance here. He's been dead for as long as Hal Jordan has been dead or out of commission. I think Hal murdered him. So here he is back, and he's back with this enormous head, which, by the way, I hate to admit this, was even bigger in the original art. And Pete Tomasi, I got confused with like the leader from the Incredible Hulk. I mean, it's like they're so similar in so many ways. His forehead was actually taller, and Pete Tomasi made me shrink it down. And God bless him for doing that, because it would be even weirder. Sinestro does have a big forehead, but he doesn't. It's not that big. It's just slightly bigger than normal. And there's always a choice as to whether to make his ears pointy or regular. Different artists throughout the years have made different choices with him. At this point, I got so sick of pointy ears on Aliens that I just gave him regular ears. They're pointy the way I draw them now. His mustache is wacky. It's all wrong. He's got a stupid look on his face. Between this issue, this last splash page, and the next issue, I figure him out at lightning speed. With Green Lantern Rebirth number 4, you're going to see Sinestro start to become the Sinestro that I realized he was and always should be, and would later become even more so. This issue was called Yellow for good reason. We explain away what the yellow weakness is, and make it finally make sense in a way that's pleasing and not silly. Very, very smart thought work by Jeff Johns. The amazing Pete Tomasi. I believe Dan DiDio had quite a hand in this as well. All working out an explanation for the, I think, very strange and almost unfixable stories of the 1990s, where Hal Jordan disgraced himself as a hero. This entire book, we needed to remove that burden from him, and let you know that he's not guilty. Not guilty. Written by Jeff Johns, penciled by me, Ethan Van Sciver, inker Prentice Rollins, who was inking most of my stuff back then. He was given to me on impulse as an inker, and somebody said, "Oh, you draw real fine detail." Well, he's a good inker for that kind of thing. Moose Bauman, colorist, doing top-notch work. I mean, just throughout, work that would really make him give him some opportunities in the business. And yeah, Harvey Richards' assistant, great guy. Peter Tomasi, well, I mean, he could be considered the MVP of Hal Jordan and Green Lantern in so many ways. I don't think I've mentioned it before, but I'll tell you now. He was an editor, and they said, "Do you want to edit the Green Lantern franchise?" And he said, "Yes, only if I can bring back Hal Jordan." So he is the reason why this even happened. He had to fight for Hal Jordan to come back. He was absolutely right that Hal Jordan should come back, and he was just the skeleton behind all of this. He was the structure behind this, and a constant source of inspiration and encouragement for me. He was honest, and sometimes when you did something wrong, he would laugh in a funny way, like he would kind of mock it and go, "No, that's just not good, Ethan. That's not good." And you'd go, "Oh no," and you'd want to fix it because you'd know. I mean, when you have a good editor, they tell you the truth, and they're honest with you, and it makes you trust them, and therefore, when they tell you that something you've done is good, it means an awful lot more because they let you know when something you've done isn't so good. So Pete Tomasi, what a mensch, what a great guy. I miss him as an editor, but I'm really glad he's writing now because he's doing a great job. And here we have the ad for Green Lantern Rebirth number 4, which is, I think, they're all good. Is this the best issue of the whole miniseries? Maybe, because Sinestro is really super cool in this issue. All right, so this was the commentary track for Green Lantern Rebirth number 3, and I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned something about this miniseries if you were a fan. This is the Comic Artist Pro Secrets channel. Please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I looked at the analytics on my channel, and it's like 30% of the people who watch your videos are not subscribed. So it does actually mean something to me, and that you do hit that subscribe button and that you do hit the bell for notifications. We're going to go through this whole mini-series this week and do 4, 5, and 6, and then we'll talk about the collected editions and things and what came from all of this. All right, so again, Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I'm Ethan Van Sciver, your friend, your host, your artist at DC Comics, and I will see you again soon. Thanks, guys.